Hello and welcome to Intersec Saudi Arabia 2025, where I'm delighted to be here on the show floor of the event with the knowledge sponsor of the Future Security Summit and the chairman of Onvif, Leo Levit. Leo, thank you very much for having me here. It's great to be on the show floor and chatting with you about current security. Now, I know that you've just come from the Future Security Summit where you've delivered a talk. Can you just explain a little bit more to our viewers at home about what you were addressing in that session?
So what we was talking at the session at Future Security Summit is how the open standards can be a foundation for smart and safer cities. We was talking about different aspects of open standards and how they can contribute to the efficient growth of the economy in the region, efficient growth of larger system deployments, smart cities, giga projects, etc., that are very, very relevant in this region.
Perfect. And what are the kind of challenges in this field? I'm sure that you were addressing some of these challenges in your talk.
Yeah, so there are multiple challenges that we addressed, and I would love to bring some of them. One of the biggest challenges we see that we're trying to help to overcome is vendor lock-in. The closed system that doesn't really communicate with other systems, that force you to continue to buy the components from a specific vendor. And that's, of course, good for the vendor, but in some cases, when your demands and your requirements are growing, it's not really possible to fulfill those with only one vendor. This is where you want to have an open ecosystem, and this is where you want to have collaboration between different systems and different vendors, that you, as a user or system integrator, can create a system that really answers the demands. So this is one thing. And very important, especially in this region, is the scalability of the technology. It is much easier to scale the technology with open solutions because you can use different systems that speak the same language and they can work together, really helping to scale the technology. When we see the tremendous growth pace in this region, how fast the cities are growing, how fast the new projects evolving, it's extremely important to have this flexibility in scalability of your projects.
Absolutely, and you touched upon sort of the openness of the way that you're working with vendors and with partners there. What about standards? How do open standards help when trying to address these key challenges, Leo?
So open standard, in essence, it's only open when everybody can participate creating that. So Onvif, as an example, is an open forum. So it's open for all enterprises, organizations, government authorities, or any other body that's interested in participating. And when we produce our specification, we share it openly. It's accessible for everybody. So that's the true openness, when it's open for contribution, but open also when it comes to the use of it. And it's fundamental for us to build this open ecosystem with our members, but also with government authorities and other standardization organizations that either embrace our specification or help us to develop our specifications.
Now, going back to your presentation, Leo, something that you touched upon was media authenticity.
Yeah.
Why is this such a priority at Onvif?
Well, it became priority some years ago, and that's actually driven by more mature AI technologies that we see not only in our industry but in general society. And we all seen all those funny videos with the celebrities doing interesting things that are actually faked videos. And just imagine if the same type of technology are used by people to fake security footage. That undermines the whole purpose of the security footage. So that's why it's becoming extremely important for us as an industry association to make sure that the content that our industry produces still can be trusted. So the media authenticity is an initiative we have in Onvif that drives technological development of what we call media signing. It's a digital watermark in the frames that can be verified while viewing. So at any given point of time, the person who view the security footage can totally 100% sure that this footage is authentic and haven't been tampered with. So this is what we're doing, and this is why it's so important.
Absolutely. I think that there's one key word that I want to take out of that, and that's trust. This all comes back down to trust,
Absolutely.
doesn't it? And I think, as we move more and more into the cloud, I understand that cloud communication, standardization is important at Onvif.
Yes.
So can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. It's interesting because when people ask us, like, what's your roadmap? What's you looking at? For us, it's very easy. We just see where the industry is going. If you ask people in this show floor, what are the key technologies that we need to focus on, you will hear AI, you will hear cloud communication, and cloud communication becoming more and more important for the security industry. It's been in the deployments in security industry for many years, but now it's becoming more and more accepted by practitioners, by end users, and it become really, I wouldn't say mass market, but more widely adopted. That also drives the need for a common language or common protocols for communicating with cloud-based systems. So this is an area that Onvif investing at the moment, and several members are very active in our work developing communication protocol for cloud communications.
Wonderful. And something that you've spoken about this afternoon, and again back in the Future Security Summit, is vendor lock-in.
Yeah.
Now, Onvif works with many different members and organizations around the world. Can you talk to us about the challenges and possibly even the problems with governments and organizations prioritizing and locking into just one vendor?
I mean, it's comes from the question itself. I mean, if you focusing on locking into a specific vendor, it's great as long as this vendor can fulfill all your needs. But as systems growing, the demand and requirements for the system changing, and it's very seldom that one specific provider can fulfill all your needs. This is where you start to look elsewhere. Can I get that additional component from another vendor? And if the answer is no, that means that the vendor that you've been working with is not providing the open interfaces for communication. That preventing you from building and developing your system further. This is one aspect. Another aspect of it is that the cost of upgrading and scaling up your system becomes very, very difficult and very, very high because you're dependent on the specific vendor. So I think when we say that we work against vendor lock-in, we want to provide end user system integrator flexibility and choice. And then it's their decision which path to go. But we want to provide the possibility of choice and a wider palette of products that can speak the same language.
Absolutely. I think overall that what Onvif is trying to achieve with this is to create a sustainable and more opportunistic future for vendors and the organizations that are using these systems alike. Let's talk regionally then, Leo. Going back to open standards, how does this help GCC countries and areas like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia specifically?
So I think this region is extremely interesting in several aspects. One of those aspects is how large scalable projects you have here in this region. And when you build those massive giga projects like NEO in Saudi, it's inevitable that you need to work with multiple vendors. If you do that, and those vendors are not providing open protocols or open interfacing for communication, the cost of development, the integration becomes very high. So I think what we believe we can help these projects is to optimize the design of the system, to optimize the cost of the system, and to optimize future development of the system. And that region is exceptional when it comes to giga projects, but also, and this is different other aspect that we were talking about, the speed of developing those projects, how fast they grow, how fast they develop and grow to something even more ambitious.
Definitely. It's something that we've seen here in the region in recent years, Leo. Even this event, Intersec Saudi Arabia, that we're at right now, has grown at an exponential rate in recent years. And that is very much aligned with these projects that you're talking about. What about Onvif then? Talking about growth and exponentially, what does the future roadmap look like for Onvif?
As we mentioned, I mean, we based our work on the technologies that's commonly in use in our industry. And this is where I think it's very important for us to see where the technology is going in the security industry. Cloud technology, we talked about that. And this is where we're focusing heavily. We're working on the cloud profile, eventually coming out this or next year. We have audio connectivity. As IP audio making a bigger entrance in the surveillance industry, we see the same type of challenges that we saw years back with the surveillance cameras, but they moved from analog to IP. So now we have IP audio that's making its entrance in the surveillance industry. So this is something that we're working on quite heavily. We touched a little bit on media authenticity. So there is a specification in work how to make sure that media authenticity can be verified at viewing of the content, that you can be sure that content haven't been tampered with. So those are the areas that we're primarily focusing. Obviously, we have a lot of work within AI, but I think what it really will materialize in, it's yet to be seen.
Well, it sounds like you're going to have your work cut out for years to come. Lots of new technologies to embrace, and of course, more and more vendors and more regions that you're tackling. So I'm really excited to see what the future looks like for Onvif, especially under your leadership, Leo. Finally, tell our audience at home how governments, organizations, vendors here in the region can get involved with Onvif and what the benefits are to them as well.
So obviously, as we mentioned several times, we are open for all enterprises, all companies, all agencies, government authorities, and institutions. The easiest way to get in touch with us is to visit our website, onvif.org. It's a lot of information based there, including the contact possibilities if you have any specific questions. We do embrace membership. We do invite people to join us and work with the specification. And in a lot of cases, it's many vendors, many system integrators, and architects and engineering companies that join us. And I think this region is not an exception. We would very much welcome new members from the region, or any other enterprise that's just willing to talk to us and explain their concerns, explain their use cases to be solved. So we would really love to hear that.
Perfect. Well, Leo, thank you very much for these insights. It's been a delight to chat to you after your presentation, and I'm sure that you've got a lot going around in your brain right now, especially with this being your first visit to Riyadh. So again, I'd encourage the audience at home to conduct more research and reach out to Onvif, engage with Leo and his organization, because they really are bringing a new dimension to the way that security systems are being deployed here in the region. So Leo, thank you very much again.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you again at future events.
Thank you.